Hey, welcome back. My name is Sarah Mesley. I'm a broker associate here in San Diego, California. And in this video, I want to explain to you what has actually happened since the NAR settlement changes in the past few weeks. Since the entire real estate industry imploded and buyer's agents are gone and all realtors are gone and nobody's paying any commission and all of that, according to the news. I want to tell you what has actually happened with me, with my buyers, with my sellers, what I've seen happen in the past few weeks since the changes, because that's the reality. Now, I do have another video where I explained in depth the NAR settlement and what were the changes for buyers, what were the changes for sellers, and what people could expect moving forward. I will link that video below. But to briefly summarize so that we can get into what I've actually seen happen, we've got to have buyer-broker agreements signed now before showing any houses. That's the buy side. And on the sell side, we can't put potential commission in the multiple listing service. Our sellers can still pay commission to buyer's agents and of course hire listing agents, and of course agents can still operate, but we just can't put that number in the MLS. It can be a ton of different places. It can be on our websites, it can be on print advertising, it can be on Facebook, not in the MLS. So let's get into what I've seen happen in the last few weeks with buyers and sellers. So I have gotten three buyer broker agreements signed for myself in the past few weeks and 2 weeks, and one for an agent that I'm training. I have also gotten 2 listings signed in the past week. And let's talk about the buyers first. On the buy side, I have had 0 objections with those 4 buyer broker agreements, not one. Not, well, is there any way you could put a different commission? Is there any way you could put less here? I'm really nervous. I don't feel comfortable signing this. Not a one. Now, that's not to say that it may never happen in the future, but if you as a real estate agent do a really good job of sitting down and explaining everything and explaining all of the options, then the likelihood of having objections is going to be very low. So I'm not just docu-signing a form to buyers and saying, sign this, I'll meet you tomorrow. We are actually sitting down and having a whole buyer consultation. And we are going over the escrow process, the home buying process first, the escrow process, what to expect, the cost, the fees, how much does a home inspection cost, how much does an appraisal cost, how do agents get paid? That's important. So at the end, we are going over the buyer broker agreement and we're talking about what is our fee as a buyer's agent. We are talking about what are the 3 different ways that we can get paid, and just letting them know this is plan A. This is how I'm going to seek commission first. If this doesn't work, here's plan B. Here's plan C. Actually, we've got a plan D too. So we're explaining all of the options, and they are feeling comfortable because they're educated, they're empowered to make their own decisions. So it's been pretty good. Another thing is I've heard a lot of people say there is no way buyers are going to pay commission. I personally think a lot of times sellers will continue to pay commission, but I will say anything is possible, and that's the beauty of this. Anything is possible. Buyers can pay their agents commission. Sellers can pay both agents commission. That there can be a combination where buyers are paying a little bit and sellers are paying a little bit to the buyer's agent. And I did close one last week where I represented the buyer on a for sale by owner, and the buyer did pay. And it was a very, very good thing. It was one of the most difficult transactions of my 15-year career, and I'm extremely glad that they had representation. So anything is possible. Remember, as a buyer's agent, plan things ahead of time. Don't just get a lead online and send them something to sign. Like, really sit down and explain the process. If they're not willing to meet and go through the process or even go through it on the phone, that's a red flag. The reason that it's so important that I'm sharing this with you too is I have had so many negative comments, not necessarily on this platform, other platforms. We know that there are just some people out there that hate all real estate agents, that will hate every real estate agent no matter what they say, what they do, where they live. There's a lot of hate, but we have to understand that it's not real. It's not real people that we know. It's like strangers who have had a negative experience and they're hiding behind a computer. But I wanted to share with you all of the positivity that I experience in real life, because I meet buyers and sellers almost every single day, and the vast majority of them are so extremely kind. They just want to be educated. They want to get the result that they want. And when we deliver the result, they're really, really happy. I love working with my buyers and sellers, and they don't hate agents, just so you know. Now let's move on to talking about the listing agreement. So I just got a couple of listing agreements signed, and I have to be honest, it felt even easier than it ever was before. So as it was before, it has, at least in California. Now I'm going to talk about California contracts. If you're in a different area, your contracts are going to be a little bit different, probably far less complicated and shorter. So before we had this, bold section that says commission is negotiable, and it's in all caps and all that. And the assumption was that a good agent will still sit down and explain the process. And now I think the way that it's written is actually more clear and leads into better conversations with our buyers and our sellers. And so as a listing agent, I am now going in and explaining the entire process, what their houses were, everything, what we're going to do, marketing, and how we get paid, what we get paid. And then we're explaining, so this is my fee, right? This is what I'm going to do for that. And then will there be a buyer's agent involved? We don't know, but here's all of the options. So, maybe there's an unrepresented buyer. Now, I really want to explain this for a minute. There could be an unrepresented buyer, but they're not going to have the forms to write the offer. The likelihood of having a true unrepresented buyer close and buy a house is very, very low. Everybody's saying that. All of the comments are like, I'm just going to be unrepresented. No, you're going to do all of the work. You're going to, instead of having a buyer's agent, you're going to do all of the work of coordinating and doing your own showings and meeting a ton of different agents. And then when you find the one you want, you're going to go directly to the listing agent. So let's say I'm the listing agent, right? And an unrepresented buyer comes to me and they're like, I really want to buy this house. Cool. They're going to go into dual agency. There are not going to be as many non-represented buyers as there will be buyers who are represented by listing agents, dual agency. In some states, that's actually illegal. I'm talking about California. It's completely legal with both parties' written consent. And so we talk about the pros, we talk about the cons. Now, in the listing agreement as it is currently, it has a section explaining, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if an unrepresented buyer comes to me and wants me to represent them, this is additionally what I'm going to charge beyond my normal fee. Or maybe it's nothing. Maybe I'm going to do that for free because of the commission that I'm getting on the listing side. Maybe. Or maybe I'm going to charge the buyer for that and not the seller. We've got so many different options now. And I am actually doing a ton of different net sheets for my sellers so that they know all the possibilities, and they love that. So for example, here's a net sheet where Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're paying just my fee as agreed on, and you're not paying a buyer's agent. Maybe there is no buyer's agent, or it's me and I chose to do it for free on this one, or maybe the buyer is paying their own agent. So 0, okay? Oh, here's one with 1%, here's one with 2%, 3%, 4%. We can create a variety of net sheets and give them all of the information that they need, on the high end, on the low end, these are all the possibilities so that they can see the net that they're walking away with. And it is so worth it to put that extra effort in and do that work so that they understand the possibilities, and there are no surprises in the offer and in the escrow process. I even go so far as to create an Excel spreadsheet when we have multiple offers, which is always the goal, usually what happens. And in my Excel spreadsheet, I'm going over, it says, the price, the offer price, how many days till close of escrow? Is there a loan? What type of loan? Are they asking for termite work? Are they asking for concessions, right? Or commission? So there are so many different things, and I want to make sure that the sellers understand everything before choosing an offer. So really, commission or concessions just becomes one more of those items that you have to look at and you have to consider before choosing an offer, and you choose the one that works best for you as a seller based on the net or whatever you're going for, based on potentially the highest net, also the level of risk. And we talk about that. And one other thing I wanted to briefly mention is that it's important as a real estate agent to not assume that everybody wants the same thing. I used to assume that when I was newer in the industry. I used to assume that everybody just wanted top dollar because that's what I want. I've sold my own properties, and that's always what I've been going for. I don't care who the buyer is, as long as they're paying top dollar. But there are sellers. One of my agents has a seller that I got on the phone with a 3-way call with her and him a couple weeks ago. And, we mentioned he wanted to list at a certain price. We mentioned you can definitely list it for more. We can definitely sell it for more. We are confident in that. He said, I don't want to. I want it to be sold really fast. I want it to be easy as possible. I want to do no repairs. This, that, and the other. I want it sold yesterday. And we said, great, we can get you investor offers. She brought him a great investor offer and just reminded him, look, I can confidently get you more. And he said, I love this offer. I want to get it done tomorrow. Let's just do this. I'm really happy. And I was like, Okay, so again, you have to understand that's all the more reason why doing a net sheet is important. The seller needs to look at every single aspect before they choose the right offer for them. So, to summarize, everything has been pretty easy since the changes with the NAR settlement. No objections really with all of my buyers and sellers. Everything's getting signed. Yes, it's a little bit of extra paperwork on our part. It is also more conversations on our part, but I think that's always a good thing. The more conversations you're having with the buyers and sellers, the more educated they are, the smoother everything is going to end up. So I'm a fan. What's your experience? If you're an agent, tell me where you are and then like what has your experience been like? And if you're a buyer or seller, have you recently signed anything? Are you comfortable with it? Did everything get explained? Let me know your experiences below and thank you for watching.